Hello, and in today's video we're looking at an introduction to forces. So what is a force? A force is a push or pull that acts on an object due to the interaction with another object. And forces come in two types. One is a contact force, and that's where objects physically touch. And you've guessed it, the other is a non-contact force, and that's where the objects don't touch. They're physically separated. So let's take a closer look at different types of contact force. So some examples. So there's friction. So when you brush along the floor, you can feel it. Air resistance, where when you move through the air particles will come into contact with your skin. Tension, so just like when you're with a rope. And then there's a normal contact force, so when you stand up, the floor pushes up against you, which of course stops you from falling through the ground. So then examples of non-contact force. So that's gravitational force, so the reason why the Earth orbits around the Sun, they're not touching, but it still happens. There's the electrostatic force, so when you have charged particles moving from one place to another, so that might be a lightning bolt. And then of course there's a magnetic force, so if you have two magnets near each other, they'll interact and they'll either attract or repel. We use the word vector to describe what forces are, and a vector means it has a magnitude and a direction. Now the word magnitude just means a size, an amount, a number, and direction we would use an arrow. So then the size of the arrow represents how big the force is, the magnitude, and then the point on the arrow represents the direction. So you know that if you push forwards or pull backwards, a force has a direction, so that means because it's got a size and a direction, we call it a vector. Later on in the course you'll hear more about vectors, but to give you an example of some names to look out for, so that would be displacement, velocity, and acceleration. And they all have a value, a magnitude, a number, but they also have a particular direction that they're going in. As ever, please remember to subscribe so you get notified of any future videos that are made.